Hey guys, Steven here with the Old School Labs, and we have some bodybuilding updates. First, we're starting with Shawn Rhoden and his, I would say, most recent physique update, but it's a most recent photo. I'm not sure if this is recent, but in the description of this photo, he doesn't say that it is a throwback. There is a hashtag Flex Friday, and it was posted on Friday. Doesn't really have to mean much, but there you can see also a comment from his coach, Chris Ciro. I highlighted it. It says, yep, we go to Vegas 3 weeks early. So he is kind of confirming that this is a recent photo. Is it possible that it's a recent photo based on body fat percent? Yeah, it's possible. He doesn't seem super lean, but he does seem really big, really round, really full. And I don't know if he's that full these days. Lately, we have seen some updates from him, but it's usually stuff like this. It's basically him eating cookies and indulging in all kinds of junk food. So, Shawn, I mean, he usually gets quite sloppy in the off-season. He gets, I would say, fat. You've seen him at Pittsburgh Pro Guest Pose, and that caused a lot of controversy since he was a Mr. Olympia winner and he was representing the entire sport that night. That didn't really go too well for him. But it didn't really matter after that. We had that whole controversy about him being accused for rape. So you guys know the whole story. But basically right now, what's going on with Shawn Rhoden? So you can see this photo. This is the recent photo that he posted. But there is another photo 5 days ago. And in this photo you can notice that his shoulders are not as round, not as full. The same thing goes with the rest of his body. I mean, arms, you can notice. You can see that his chest is kind of hanging. It's starting to look like a dead bod, like it was, at the Pittsburgh Pro, or even worse than that. So this goes to tell me that maybe he's also retired. I would really hate that, but there is a slight possibility. I mean, we are not exactly weeks out of Mr. Olympia, but there isn't really a lot of time. It's happening in December. June is almost over, so what does he have? He has July, August, September, October, November. That's 5 months, and he should be ready by December. So it's like 6 months out of Mr. Olympia. Can he become the Mr. Olympia if he's looking like this right now? It's very hard to tell, but it doesn't seem promising. Although we did see Shawn make crazy transformations in such a short time span, but those additions weren't his best editions. When he won the Mr. Olympia, he had a whole year to prepare for that. 2015 Mr. Olympia, I think it was when did he break his jaw or something? He prepped for like a couple of months and he was completely out of shape before that, and he took like 5th place, something like that. But he didn't win the Mr. Olympia. He won the Mr. Olympia when he was focused year-round. Does he seem focused year-round right now? I wouldn't call it that if he looks like this. If that photo that he posted is actually recent, then sure, he can win the Mr. Olympia pretty easily. But this, unfortunately, is more likely to be his current shape, and it doesn't seem promising. Let's go with other competitors. We haven't talked about Roelly Winkler in a while, right? So what is going on with him? So we have a physique update. It's been posted 5 days ago. You can't really see much. You can see the crazy triceps that he has, arguably the best triceps in the history of bodybuilding. I would say so, yeah, one of the best for sure. And here he looks huge and everything, but Roelly, his problem was never the mass, it was always the conditioning. And as far as the mass, there was one problematic area, and that is his lower back. That's something he should be working on and trying to fix that. Right here in this comparison against Phil Heath, you can see what I'm talking about. The lower back. The lower back is really shallow. There is nothing going on there. There is no muscle, basically. It's just one big gap. And as far as his traps, they're not as thick as Phil's. Yeah, his lats are a bit high inserted. Not that high, but a little bit higher than what ideally it should be like Phil's, for example. Phil's lats are inserted very low, and still they have the pop that creates a really good V-taper. Roelly also has a decent V-taper. In the back lat spread, he looks really good actually, pretty good, decent. But in the back double bicep, not as good as it could be. So he should focus on that, not only on his lower lats, but also his spinal erectors. But yeah, it's mainly the lat problem. So if he can fix that, that would be great. I mean, he should be able to win the Mr. Olympia. Yeah, sure. Can he beat Brandon Curry and William Bonac? He did that before. So yeah, he is a potential Mr. Olympia winner. Everybody thought that he would win actually back in 2019. Many people had him, but he came completely off for whatever reason. So if he nails the conditioning and maybe improves his back just a tiny bit, and he has been improving it for the past couple of years, yeah, he has a legitimate chance at the title. This is his most recent post. He posted a video of himself doing this exercise. It's from his TikTok. I guess I should download TikTok to watch bodybuilders' videos. Right? Hell no, that's not happening. Anyways, you would hope that he's doing a back extensions. That's what I thought the first moment I saw this, but actually he's doing some hamstring work. I mean, should he be focusing on his hamstrings? Sure, yeah, he can fix that as well, but I would like to see him work on his back, his lower back specifically, like way harder than anything else, really. Some extra hamstring work is definitely not gonna hurt him. His quads are great, but his hamstrings could be a little bit more separated, so sure, this is a great idea, but I would really like to see him focusing on his back, specifically his lower back. Again, I would love to see that, because if he improves that, there will be no reason why he can't be the Mr. Olympia winner, right? I don't see what else. That's the only flaw. That and conditioning, of course. But conditioning is something you make in a matter of weeks. And as far as making muscle improvements, that takes a little bit longer than that, right? Okay, next up, we have a Frank Zane movie that is going on. So Frank Zane is making a movie about himself. It's going to be kind of a documentary about his whole life. And they are seeking for an actor. So if you guys, some of you know somebody who is an actor, who has a good looking physique, and if you are one of those guys, you know, with a good physique, I would assume that they would ask for a guy from America with an American accent. If you are like that, and if you look kind of like Frank Zane, you know, you can try and get this role. If you are an actor, of course. I don't know what chances are that any actors are watching this, but I just wanted to put it out there. And yeah, I'm curious to see what this movie is going to be like. Hopefully it's going to be better than that bigger movie about Arnold and Joe Eater. Because that movie, I mean, it was kind of educational, I guess. But then Arnold said that it was stupid, quote unquote, because it wasn't exactly accurate. So we didn't really learn much about history, but the movie was pretty bad. So hopefully this is going to be better. But, you know, it's not going to be as interesting of a story as the one about Arnold and Joe and the other guys, Sergio Oliva as well. So we'll see what this is going to turn out to be. If you are an actor or you know somebody who is an actor who has a good looking physique or kind of looks like Frank Zane, you know, you can suggest them to sign up for this. Alright, next up, Brandon Curry. I already talked about him in this video. He's the Mr. Olympia, the current champion. And there is a selfie. Shawn Rhoden took it. And there is also Danny Hester, the first classic physique Mr. Olympia right there. Bob Ciccarello, the voice of bodybuilding, quote unquote. And there is also Jake Wood, who is the owner of the Mr. Olympia currently. And of course, the Mr. Olympia champion himself, Brandon Curry. Why am I showing you this photo is because look at the Brandon, look at the size of him. He looks enormous. Look at the size of that arm and that shoulder and chest and everything. He looks big. He's 6 months out of Mr. Olympia, and he's not playing around. He's probably not going off the cycle. He's probably still training really hard, but he's staying in US. When his prep for Mr. Olympia starts, I'm sure he's gonna go back to Kuwait, focus only on bodybuilding, leave his family in US, just focus on training and eating and doing whatever it takes to win another Mr. Olympia title. Is he going to be the next winner another time, another year? Will he repeat? Will he keep his title? I don't know. It's pretty possible. He has been known for being consistent, and I'm sure he's going to be consistent this year as well. As far as his competition, there is a lot of guys who can actually take him out. For example, Shawn Rhoden. If Shawn comes conditioned, he can beat Brandon Curry, I think, pretty easily. Now, this is not very likely, but Phil Heath, yeah, if he comes back, he can also beat him. Sure. Roelly Winkler, not super likely, but it's a possibility. Big Ram, if Big Ram brings the shape, he can beat him, sure. William Bonac can beat Brandon Curry only if Brandon is not in shape, if he's off and William is just perfectly spot on. But anyways, we'll see what happens. As for now, Brandon looks amazing. Based on this, this photo in his clothes, It's not much of a physique update, but you can see the fullness, you can see the size and the conditioning a little bit. You can see the veins and the striations on his arms. He looks great. He looks really amazing actually for 6 months out. And we'll see. Hopefully he's going to bring his best, his A game. And hopefully the other guys will do the same thing, which is not likely. Probably one or two of them are going to bring their best. But if we have a couple of guys who are really on, that's going to be a good show. And I can't wait till the next Mr. Olympia. There will also be, hopefully, Flex Lewis. And this is another guy who can, win the show. Sure, if he makes some big improvements. He was a Mr. Olympia champion in 2012 for, 6 years, I believe. 2018 was his last year. He retired. He took a year off, and now he's going to be competing this year, hopefully. But we haven't really seen a lot of updates from him. I don't know why. Maybe he's just waiting, and he's going to start his prep late. So we'll see. This is a photo of himself, the most recent one that I could find. And yeah, he looks big as usual. Nothing crazy here. But, without having a weight restriction, he's going to be able to maintain the fullness and the size and come in a good shape. And hopefully he made some improvements these past 2 years. I'm sure he did. And I'm really curious to see him compare against the big guys, the taller guys, the open guys. That's going to be one of the most interesting things at this Mr. Olympia 2020. That's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you want to see more bodybuilding content like this, please subscribe to this channel. All the best, guys, and keep it old school.